Hey guys, this is Pete and Chris from Fuse Fitness and Performance.
What's going on?
We wanted to talk to you today about an article that came out in the New York Times. It's called "As Workouts Intensify, a Harmful Side Effect Grows More Common." It was today, July 17th, that it came out. And we believe this article, which we will link below, should open up a discussion about workout intensities, proper workout intensities in whether it's a group environment or a personal training environment. The article itself is specifically about a medical condition called rhabdo. Well, it's known as rhabdo, but it's really called
Rhabdomyolysis.
He says it better than I do, and you'll hear why in a second. So basically what they're talking about is people going in this particular article, they're really focusing on spin classes, but it happens in other different cross-training, small group training style classes where people go in and they're pushed beyond their limits to an extreme level, and this is where they develop rhabdo. So I'll let kind of Chris talk a little bit more about this and kind of give you insight to what rhabdo is.
So basically, rhabdo is kind of one of the main reasons that I actually got into training and got into wanting to be a trainer, because I had it. I went to see a personal trainer. I was probably about 360 pounds at this point. I went to see a personal trainer, and I went in for my first initial workout. There was no consultation, there was no requesting my background, none of that. They just threw me right into a workout. And you know, it was just way too intense for what I could handle. It wasn't the workload, it was the speed at which he had me doing it. So speed or workload can actually cause rhabdo. So basically what happened was in a couple of days later, I got really sore. It just felt like my muscles were all locked up. Getting in and out of cars was almost impossible. Going to lay down, sit up, all of it, it was not happening. So a couple days later, I noticed that when I went to pee, it was brown, almost like an iced tea color. And I kind of figured out that something was wrong at that point. So I wound up in the hospital for 6 days, getting fluids, I think it was a glass of water, 8 ounces of fluid an hour for 6 days, intravenously as well as drinking constantly. So basically what it does is it can cause kidney failure. Your body breaks down muscle tissue so quickly that your kidneys can't filter it, and that's why your urine comes out in that brown color. And what that does is it makes the kidneys work on overload to the point where they shut down. Luckily I didn't get to that point, but that's what rhabdo is. Rhabdo can go so far as to kill you, and once you have it, you're predisposed to it, so you have to be extra careful after catching it, because it can lead to complications in the future. So that's kind of what got me to make the decision and say, I don't want anybody else to ever have to deal with this. I'm going to learn how to do this the right way, the proper way. And then I got linked up with Pete, and luckily I found somebody who does things the right way. You know, training is not about let's beat you into a pulp and make you want to crawl out of here. That's really not what it's about. If that's what it was about, we could have somebody come into the gym, we'll tell them to do 1,000 burpees, you have an hour to do it, walk away, let them do that, and they'll walk out of here puking. That's not the point. That's not why we train people.
Yeah, a lot of times in this industry, whether it's because people see TV shows like The Biggest Loser or Revenge Body or something like that, they believe when they walk in here that that's what training is, that it's falling off the treadmill, crying, feeling like your legs don't work, wrapping your knees, like that's how you have to get fit. And it's like all in or do or die type situation, and that's really not what it is. No one ever talks about the after stories of those type of things and those crash diets and those 6 hours of workouts and what happens when all of a sudden they're only able to work out for 45 minutes or an hour. So what really is important is consistency, and how do you get consistency is by not being injured. But before that, we have to develop good movement patterns, and we have to be able to control ourselves in a dynamic environment. Just throwing somebody out on the floor and just beating the holy crap out of them is useless. Eventually, one, they're going to break down, and two, anybody can do that. You don't need a trainer or a space to just beat you up. You can go find a video on YouTube and follow along and do stuff wrong and, hopefully not, but probably end up hurting yourself at some point. So what training should be is taking somebody that comes into our space, whatever gym it is, and finding out where they are. What level are you at? What's your movement competency? What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your asymmetries? What injury history do you have? What surgeries have you had? These are all the things we need to know. What's your sleep like? What's your nutrition like? All these things kind of round out the information that we need to gather in order for us to then program something for that person. But I have to know how they move. A lot of people come in here and they're intimidated because of, again, seeing these other things or going to other places and being just thrown in with the wolves, where we take a step-by-step approach and slowly roll them in so that when they get up to speed, all their movement, their base movement patterns are good or getting better, and we're not just throwing you in and just hoping that you survive. And that's one of the things, I know when Chris came here, he said like he wanted to kind of get in shape before he got in shape, right? Because he was expecting exactly that. And I hear that from a lot of people, and they're very surprised the first few sessions when they actually walk out of here and they feel good. I had a client today and she goes, this is the first time I've been in a gym or, training with somebody where I feel energized and good when I leave. And you should. Sure, every once in a while we push the pace or, we push the intensity, and that's fine, and you can do that, but you have to earn that. That's not something that you're just given. You have to earn the right to push yourself that far, to really go after it. Because if you go after it with bad movement patterns and you go after it with pre-existing injuries that no one's worked on or helped you with, you're just going to end up being out for 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months because you're always rehabbing injury.
Or not come back because you're extremely hurt.
Or that, or be in the hospital for 6 days.
You come in for one session, you leave, you're hurt. Why would you want to go back? I mean, my personal experience, immediately after the workout, they knew something was wrong. They were trying to pump me full of glucose, get sugar in my body. I didn't know what they were doing. Now I do, but at that point I didn't even notice. But they tried to pump me full of sugar, brought me in the office. I signed the training agreement. I got my butt kicked. I felt terrible, but I still signed it because I was ready to do something about my life. I wanted to change my life. And I got taken advantage of.
And this is an important point of what he's saying, and I remember having this conversation with him. He said that after he was done with that workout, he knew it wasn't right and he knew something was off, but he still signed up because he just thought that's the way it was. That's what training was. This is what I think training is.
And I'm not somebody who was, had never been in a gym before. I spent a lot of time in the gym. I've been up and down in weight for a long time in my life. I spent a lot of time in the gym. I was a football player. I trained a lot, but still, that was my perception of what personal training was supposed to be. And I'm glad that I found out that it's not, because hurting people, you're getting people, when you're a trainer, you're getting people to come into your space when they're at their most vulnerable. They are in a position where they have decided, I want to change my life. I want to make myself better, whether it's to lose weight, whether it's to build muscle, whether it's just to get more endurance. They're coming to you at a point where they've said, enough is enough, I need your help. And to take advantage of someone like that, to just throw them into a workout without having any information about them, it's not only wrong, but it's dangerous. And I'm case in point.
Yeah.
One workout put me in the hospital, and now I will never ever set foot in that gym again. So yes, they lost the client, but no one else was going to hear my story unless I put it out there. So that's why I think that's part of the reason why when this article came out, it was like this is something we should talk about.
And how many people, like Chris had that happen, went to the hospital, but still made a decision to get his butt off of the couch and say, all right, I'm still going to do this. How many people, and you may know somebody, that went to a gym, got the crap beat out of them and said, I'm never doing it again. That was so uncomfortable, that hurt so much, I'm never doing it again. And took that, what Chris was just saying, took that spirit of I want to get help, and then got it slammed in their face and went, I'm never doing this again. And they may never go get help again. That may have ruined them. That could have ruined Chris. Chris could have said, screw this, I'm done, I'm out, I'm never doing this again. this is just ridiculous. Luckily, he didn't, and that's one of the reasons I'm glad Chris came here. I'm one of the reasons glad Chris decided that he wanted to be a trainer, because his story, hopefully, if it touches one person and somebody goes, holy crap, that happened to me, or something close to it, and that guy still did his thing, let me go talk to him about it. They don't even have to train here. They could just come talk to us about it. Like, it's just about making sure that people don't get hurt and they understand what this is, what this training thing is. It's why I started doing these small group classes. That's why I started training to begin with, is to help people and help them understand, like, it's not just go crazy and go nuts and you gotta be in a puddle of sweat when you're done. Some of my most productive workouts with people, they just feel great when they're done, because we've worked right up to the capacity of, they start to feel good and then it's leave. But again, we do have those crazy workouts where we go hard, but again, every single person knows their capacity, and we know their capacity, and we know when it's almost too much, and we'll say, okay, let's back off a little bit. There's no reason to go there. If you want to be doing this for the next 5, 10, 15 years, you have to respect your limits. And I and Chris and trainers need to respect your limits. All right. Well, if you have any questions, leave a comment, give us an email, info@fusefp.com. Give us a call, visit the website, come in, try out a session, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys.